It's not only what you put in your body, but it's also what you put on your body. Our skin is our largest organ, and that's exactly what we're talking about on this week's episode of Lift You Up Inspiring Health Stories with Ira Green. She is the CEO and founder of Freedom All-Natural Deodorant, and she started the company after 3 of her friends were diagnosed with breast cancer all at the same time, only to find out that soon after she started this business, she would also be facing her own diagnosis as well. Our physical, mental, and emotional health is not just a want, it is a need for happy lives and prosperous businesses. Lift You Up is the podcast where we share inspiring health stories from business owners who are fulfilling their purpose to live their healthiest lives and helping you do the same. From former TV reporter to marketing entrepreneur and content creator, I care about sharing stories that matter and stories that connect us. I'm your host, Tamika Bickham, your health and wellness matchmaker. Well, today I am so excited to welcome to the show and introduce all of you to Ira Green. Welcome.
Thank you.
So nice to meet you and learn more about you, your story. You are the CEO and founder of Freedom All-Natural Deodorant, and calling in from chilly Las Vegas right now. So I'm so excited to learn more about you, learn more about Freedom All-Natural Deodorant. But tell me, I want to get to the story behind how you got to where you are now. With your business and your product, where did the idea for all of this start?
Well, it's interesting because I ran a financial firm. I was a finance nerd. I was pretty happy doing what I was doing and, making good money. And then I had 3 friends that were diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was like one right after the other was getting diagnosed. And they were 31, 41, and 43. So they were young. So I'm like, whatever you guys are doing, I don't want to get it done. And the doctors were basically saying that you had to not change only what you put in your body, but what you also put on your body, because your skin is your largest organ, right?
Right.
Even though most men think they have another organ that's larger, it's actually just your skin. Um, so your skin actually absorbs over 70% of what you put on it. So, one of the things that we were able to change almost everything, makeup, soaps, lotions, but I had a really hard time finding a good deodorant that actually worked, where it wasn't so organic that I felt like I had to stand on my head to put it on. It wasn't a rock. It's something that was actually somewhat luxurious and actually worked and made me feel like I was normal, right?
Yeah.
So that's what made me start the company. But this last year, that's changed quite a bit.
Oh my God. Okay, so what's happened in this? I have a lot of questions, but you led me right. You were leading into that. So this year's a lot's different. What happened with this year?
Well, this last year I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So here I am advocating for women left and right, getting women healthier one armpit at a time. And here I was with that call from the doctor saying that I had cancer. And, I am like, I had no family history. I'm not obese. I did not do the things that you have to do to be in a high breast cancer risk. I might have maybe a little drank a little much, and during COVID that definitely increased. But other than that, like I didn't have any of the factors for breast cancer at all. And so yeah, I was diagnosed.
But ultimately, because not too long ago, I've partnered with a local healthcare system, learned more about breast cancer, partnered with them on their breast cancer awareness campaign. 1 in 8 women are diagnosed.
I
mean, that number.
Can we say that again?
Insane. Yes.
1 in 8. Like, look around when you go out with your girlfriends. How many people do you have there? That means one person is going to get diagnosed from there. Like, that's an insane number.
It's insane. And honestly, as you're telling me that about your 3 friends, having one right after the other, in some ways I feel like I should be shocked, but I've heard that story so many times now.
Oh, just this last week, I've had 2 of my friends diagnosed. Like, it's crazy. And I mean, I don't want to consider myself old. I'm 49. I was diagnosed at 48. My one of my friends is 47 right now. She just got diagnosed. These are not older women, right? These are women in their prime, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they've got a lot of living left, and they're all getting diagnosed. And one of the biggest groups that's getting diagnosed right now is the late 30s, early 40s women as well, because of IVF and everything else. Anything that raises your hormone levels is a direct factor to breast cancer. Like it
Interesting.
is a really big deal. Hormones are no joke. Mine was 100% estrogen driven.
Wow. As
Yeah.
you're saying that, even just last week, I found out about a friend of mine getting diagnosed at 32 years old. Um, and what made it just hit so much harder is that the day after she found out she's pregnant.
Ah, oh my
So
goodness. Well,
she's
I mean,
going,
listen, there's a lot they could do now, right? I know
yeah,
people that have gone through chemo while they were pregnant as well. It's a
oh,
higher risk.
really?
But breast cancer affects so many women, and
Absolutely.
but the survival number is great. It's like
It is.
95%. You know,
Yes.
so as much as we as women have to go through periods and menopause and stuff like that, we make it through, right? It's one of those things where we have to be just more conscious of what we put on our bodies. The
Mm-hmm.
average woman puts about 12 different things on her body on a daily basis. Okay? Did you ever think of that? Like,
No.
what's in your soap when you take a shower? What's in your water? Right? Like, do you have softener in there? Do you have a clean water solution? Right? Most of us don't, and we're drinking crap water, right? Your soap, your lotion, your body wash. What kind of scrubber are you using? Are you using those plastic horrible loofahs that have been sitting there forever, right? Like, what are you using? Then when you come out, are you putting an oil on? Are you putting a lotion on? Are you putting perfume on? Are you putting a glitter on? Are you putting a fake tanner on? You brush your teeth, you
Right.
comb your hair, you put hair products. I mean, I could keep going and going and going.
Right.
But
I was
for
like, when you said 12, I was like, do I really put 12 on? I had to think about it. And now as you're saying it, yes, there are so many products that we use throughout the day. And yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to go back to when you said it's not only what you put in your body, but what you put on your body. Now, when you started thinking about the idea for this business as your friends, received their diagnoses and are starting to think about their treatments. Was that something as far as, hey, pay attention to what you put on your body that was told to them by their doctors? Or do you know? Or was that just conversations you were having amongst each other?
So that was a conversation that one of my friends had with her doctor. And, I'll be honest with you. Once I got diagnosed, it's such an interesting perspective, going into the doctor's office and filling out all the forms. And the forms are basically like, do you smoke? Are you obese? Are you Ashkenazi Jewish, which I am, which by the way has a much higher breast cancer rate.
Interesting.
Um, and so do African American women. There's certain aspects, and you got to fill that out, right? And it's like, okay, well, I can't change that, right? So how do I make myself better? So
Right.
I found, I had to change my diet. I went with a low inflammation Mediterranean style diet, so anybody could look that up. I changed everything that touched my skin, my body, everything. Obviously I was already using natural deodorant, so I was good there. But I double, triple checked all my lotions and oils and changed my soaps and stuff like that. Went to non-fluoride toothpaste. I don't know if that makes a huge difference. My dentist was like, it doesn't matter as long as you brush your teeth. Um,
Right.
he's like, you could do it with water. You come out with the same results. So I was like, okay, all right, just an FYI out there. So yeah, and I have to exercise too. They recommend 150 minutes of exercise per week. Okay. And nothing too heavy, like because you don't want to stress your body either. Because when you stress your body,
Yeah.
your cortisol level goes up. Your cortisol level goes up and your estrogen level goes up. That causes breast cancer. That's like a buffet for breast cancer. You want to give
Interesting.
breast cancer plenty of fuel? You could do a couple of things. You could stress your body by overworking it. Okay. You can obviously eat like shit, a lot of meat products, excuse my language, but a lot of meat products. Meat products are pretty much all estrogen because they're an animal, right? Same with dairy. Okay, all estrogen. So if you could get rid of just even one or two of those things, you're on a
Yeah.
better path.
Yeah. And when I've had a big part of the reason I started this podcast is with my own health journey 5 years ago with dealing with autoimmune symptoms and too much inflammation. So that's when I did change to much more of a plant-based lifestyle and what I put in my body. But it's interesting. I haven't spent as much time with, hey, what I put on my body. And I've had some of these conversations around those things on this show as well. Do you think natural products, because I think a lot of times, and probably for myself included, when we think of natural products, we think of more expensive, less accessible.
Yep.
And I know a lot of things are starting to shift and change around that, but I would think for those not as familiar, that's kind of the first reaction.
Okay, so let me tell you, there's a little bit of a difference. So
Yeah.
natural is a really strong word, right? What does that really mean? Because I say natural and somebody goes, oh, so it's 100% organic. Organic and natural are not the same thing, okay? There's a lot of deodorants out there that are aluminum free, right? That does not mean they're natural. That means they don't have aluminum in them, right? They still could have a lot of other crap in them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very careful. So there's aluminum free as far as deodorants go. There's aluminum free, there's natural, and there's organic. Organic's really tough to do in a deodorant, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of the product is earth-based, which means magnesium is salt water, right? Baking soda is salt water. There's a lot of ingredients that come from the earth. When it's coming from the earth, it can't be organic. You can't certify it, right? Because you didn't grow it. Mother
Right.
Earth grew it, right? So, and quite honestly, I'll be honest with you, there's a couple organic pieces that if we added to our deodorant, we would have had no shelf life and
Mm.
it would have gone rancid, which nobody wants.
No.
Okay, because rancid oils and stuff like that are not good for you either. Okay. So I natural to me just basically means, can I eat it? Like if I'm on stranded on a desert island and I had to eat this as my last food source, am I going to die from it? Right?
Right.
Or am I going to live from it? And our products, you would live. They're keto friendly, they're gluten free. All the things that are in our product are all food grade, and you have them. That's what natural means to me.
Mm.
Okay. There's a lot of deodorants out there that are aluminum free. They are not natural. They could have perfumes in there. They could have a lot,
Mm.
and perfumes, by the way, do some damage. Just an FYI.
Yeah.
So that's the other level. Well, people are like, this isn't, aluminum free. Well, that doesn't mean the rest of it's good for you,
Mm.
right? If you want to go natural, you go natural. It should say natural. You should know the ingredients on the back. When companies say it's 70% organic or 70% natural, okay, I think that for marketing is just crap because it
Mm-hmm.
makes people think it's a natural product.
Mm.
Most products have natural derivatives in them, right? So if you put 70% of good stuff in, but 30% of crappy stuff in,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like what's the other 30? I always wanted to know if it's 70% natural, what's the other 30?
Right.
Crap. Doesn't take a lot.
Something that occurred to me as you were talking about, um, hey, if I was alone on a desert island and this is my last thing to eat, could I eat it and it not kill me? The answer, if it's natural, is yes, right? So why? Obviously, we wouldn't eat anything intentionally that would kill us. So why would
Right?
we put something on our bodies that we couldn't eat? Be knowing that, hey, our skin is our largest organ, we need to treat that just as well.
Absolutely. Your body should know how to process whatever you put on your skin, right? So if you're putting stuff that's not natural on your skin, your body's having a tough time processing it. And it could cause many different things. 80% of breast tumors have parabens in them. I mean, where are you getting parabens in your boobs,
Mm,
right?
wow.
Yeah. Everything comes through your lymphatic system, that's your super highway.
Hmm.
And it can move garbage just as well as it can move good stuff.
Mm,
And it gets it all from your skin, everything it's absorbing, things that you're eating. And it's really hard to detox some of those levels, especially if there's toxic levels or anything like that. Like, antiperspirant is a drug by the FDA, right? Did you know that? It's an actual over the counter drug. So you're putting a drug on your body that changes the way your body works every single day when you use an antiperspirant.
Yeah.
Okay. Like your body actually has to come back to normal when you start using a natural deodorant. How crazy is that?
Sometimes when I go into the whole like health and wellness rabbit hole, I'm just like, this is all a scam. Like they're all in it together. And not to take us down that, but it's like, hey, this is a drug here, but we want to continue to put it out there, even though we know it's making people sick. But that's because it also continues to feed our health and medical system, which makes so much money, right? So it's like all interconnected.
Well, it's so weird. When I found out that doctors were basically trained to treat the problem, not prevent the issue,
That was what I
right?
meant.
And where I think preventative medicine, they call those natural paths and stuff like that, is super strong. But I think you need a combination of both because I know a lot of people, you look at Steve Jobs, he wanted to go the natural route, he's dead,
No,
right?
I totally agree with that. Yeah,
He
absolutely.
could have lived if he would have done chemo or anything like that. He could have lived, right? Um, I think everything needs a combination of both. I don't think you should go completely on the that side. You know, I went through chemo and radiation. I wanted to throw everything at my body that I could to make sure that this beast does not come back. Um, but I also, on the flip side, talked to a naturopath and got some supplements, you know, to make sure that my recovery was better, you know, and I felt great. I felt great. My hair is
Yeah.
coming back thick. I don't know what to do with it. Like literally, it won't move. It just does the same thing, you know, and I've never even had thick hair. So, you know, my body's actually better now. And I think I'm healthier now than I was before I got diagnosed. But that's because I chose to be preventative.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
you know what I mean?
absolutely. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, I agree with that thought process as far as leaning into both options, right? Because there's things that we can control as far as hey, what we're putting into our body, what we're putting on our body. And then there's time when we do need that medical intervention as well. So kind of going back to the earlier part of our conversation and you actually starting this company, you had three friends diagnosed all around
Yeah.
the same time. You started the company before you received your breast cancer diagnosis. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So whether it led to it or I had a premonition that I was going to get it. So I was preparing myself for it down the road. It helped a lot. You know, dealing with comprehensive cancer centers of America, a lot of survivors, you know, knowing my network, that when I was diagnosed, I mean, these guys stepped up like nobody's business. You know, I had an appointment immediately. I got a double mastectomy done within 3 weeks of diagnosis. It's unheard of. Like these guys were amazing. I've had nothing but support, and the breast cancer community is great as well. You know, it's a little weird, you know, just because I have a company that started from breast cancer, and a couple of the support groups kicked me out because they're like, you can't talk about your company. But I'm like, but I'm in the breast cancer field. But yeah, it's been there's such a strong community. There's so much information out there. You have to be careful not to go down the Google rabbit hole,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? Because that's all going to lead to cancer. And it does. And but you know, I mean, I think diet, nutrition, and uh emotional well-being are such a huge deal. Like meditation, and I use two apps to meditate. I use Calm. I love Calm. They're great. And then I use another app called Here, Here.
Why was it important for you personally, you to start this business?
I have three daughters, and I don't want them to ever know what an antiperspirant is under their armpit. I want them to know that natural is normal, whereas natural is really weird before. You know, you had to be hippy dippy to be natural. And I want them, you know, so it's really for the next generation.
So let me ask you for those that say, oh, a natural deodorant,
Yeah.
there's no way that's going to work well.
Oh, ours works great. I get that all the time. They're like, yours is like the only one that works. I'm like, why do you keep trying other ones? Like, you've already found yours. Come on. We are voted number one by Good Housekeeping. We just partnered with Marriott for their oncology wellness program for next year.
Oh, wow. Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Over there, there's
exciting.
many and many more hotels. One hotel group as well. We partnered with for next year. So we're going to get people healthier one armpit at a time. You're going to see us everywhere.
Is there a reason why because I'm just thinking of conversations with friends and things that I've heard in passing, why some people may think, hey, I need the product, the antiperspirant, the more toxic products, because those are the ones that actually work. I'm a sweaty person, or
Right.
those kinds of things. How can we educate more around that?
Well, it's super interesting to me because, we'll be down in Florida and somebody will be like, I need the antiperspirant. I'm like, dude, you're in Florida. You sweat everywhere. There's not a part of your body that is not sweaty. Are you putting it everywhere, or are you just putting it in your armpits, right where your lymph nodes are? And they're like, well, no, just in my armpits. Oh, so what are you worried about? Like, you're soaking wet anyway. So your body is actually supposed to sweat. It's your cooling system. So when you get overheated, you start sweating. Like when women get hot flashes, they get soaking wet because your body's trying to calm it down, right? When you stop it from doing that, guess what's going to happen? It's going to work overtime and it's going to be worse and worse. So everybody who's like, I'm super, super sweaty, it's because you're stopping it from breathing. Like you're stopping it from sending out what it needs to cool your body down, right? So it's actually making more. So you're sweating more. And what I hear the most is when people cut that out, right? And they're not sweating any, their sweat actually goes down. When they stop blocking the sweat, they don't sweat as much as they used to. Because think about it, if you put a dam up, it's only going to accumulate more water. Yeah. And that's what you're doing by using an antiperspirant. You're putting a dam up. Right. You're not letting it come out. And it's supposed to come out to cool you down. That's why it comes out everywhere else.
So the antiperspirant is like the dam. It stops the sweat.
Yep. It's an actual chemical that was created in the 1940s. It's a patented formula that was created in the 1940s. It has not been changed since then. It is an actual drug, and it changes the way your body works. By 30%, it closes up your sweat glands.
And so that's great to know too, just as far as like understand it, like, hey, sweat isn't bad, but this is stopping the BO, which is ultimately what we want and we care about.
Yeah, if you're going to sweat all day long but you're not going to smell, that's fantastic. People, when you sweat, you release pheromones. I mean, that's when, guys will talk to you. You're like dancing and sweating up a storm, right? You're working out, you're releasing pheromones. I mean, come on, right? Why stop those beautiful bodies from working?
I love it. I love it. If someone, and hey, I'll say that someone is me, right, who hasn't really looked at the products that average on 12 that we put on our body each day and wants to start to make changes. And let's say it may feel overwhelming at first. So like you may not say, hey, I'm throwing everything away and buying all the new things. But is there somewhere that you recommend someone starts? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's two places. One, soap is super important for me because you do use it all over your body. I tend to make my own soap. Not everybody does that, but it's really easy to find organic soaps that don't have perfumes in them.
Okay. And that's the key thing to look for. No perfumes in them.
No perfumes. Okay. And there's SLS too. There's a couple things to stay away from. So soap, I think, is fairly easy because just because you use it a few times a day as well, and you use it all over your body. So that's one of those things. Shampoo and conditioner, you really could find some great stuff nowadays that doesn't have any parabens in it. Okay. So look for no silicones, no parabens if you can. And then of course, deodorant. Freedom Deodorant. We have mini sizes and we have full sizes. And we're 100% eco-friendly.
I'm not like a big skincare person. I just never know where to start. So I don't even put I use Cetaphil and like kind of, like a basic kind of soap and water. Like I don't have creams or matte. Like I've never really been into that. I'm like starting to think about it as I'm getting older, but I don't ever really know where to start. So we had Jamie Hilfiger on this show who has a vegan, organic, all natural skincare line. And I tried that and I actually I love it. I'm like, this is actually one of, the best face lotions I've had. I have very sensitive skin. So It feels good on my skin. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. Because I think sometimes that can be the thought around a natural product. Like, am I going to miss something? But it does feel cleaner. So I feel like little by little with each person that I meet, I'm learning more, able to share that information. And it's also just helping me live healthier.
Well, you know, it's interesting because like, what do you put on your skin, on your arms or anything? Do you put anything on your skin? Lotion, oils?
Not usually, but when I do put on lotion, it's like, the stuff I get from CVS, like cocoa butter.
Yeah. No, go grab a nice oil, an all natural oil, and you could use that all over your body, all over your skin. Super good for you. There's a ton out there. Just the least amount of ingredients, the better, is
Yeah.
usually the key. And the stuff is luxurious. Like you'll feel great from it.
Well, I definitely want you to share how everyone can learn more about you, your product, social media, website, all the things. We'll make sure to link that below as well. So tell us where we can find you.
Yes, freedomdeodorant.com or freedomdeo.com, short for deodorant. Our Instagram, Freedom Deodorant. Our Facebook, Freedom Deodorant. Our LinkedIn, Freedom Deodorant. We're not on Twitter. I had to put my foot down. And TikTok, Freedom Deodorant. Easy. Freedom, just the one with the hummingbird. Can't miss it.
Beautiful packaging.
Send you some. Send me your address.
I will, for sure. Thank you so much. But is there anything else, Ira, that you wanted to add before we go?
You know what? Be healthy, not stinky. I mean, that's a big thing. And it's a product that actually works, which is great. So know your products. If anything, just because it's aluminum free doesn't mean it's natural. Just know your products.
Absolutely. And, all healing thoughts and well wishes with you as you
Thank you.
continue on your health journey. And thank you so much for sharing that and being so open with that. With
Oh
us as
yeah.
well.
Well, there's more to go. I have a big surgery February 10th, so I'll say a little prayer for that.
Absolutely, certainly. And we appreciate your time so much today. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
educating us and sharing your story.
Anything I could do. If you had any questions, you let me know.
I hope you all enjoyed that episode just as much as I did. I know I learned so much from Ira because oftentimes we do forget, or we can forget, that our skin is our largest organ on our body and we should treat it just as well as we treat the organs on the inside of our body. So that's something I'm going to definitely keep in mind going forward. Take a look at the products that I'm putting on my body. Certainly excited to try Freedom All-Natural Deodorant. And all of you, if you're interested in learning more, of course, her information, Freedom All-Natural Deodorant website, social media links, all the good stuff is down below in the show notes so that you can check that out. And also, if you want to connect with me, I don't know why you haven't yet, you can also find my information below in the show notes. I'd love to stay connected with you. I'm all the places, but I'd especially love it if you subscribe on YouTube or connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd hate for you to miss out because we come back with new episodes every other week of this podcast. So until I see you back in 2 weeks, because I know I'll see you then, stay happy, stay healthy.